Okay everybody, welcome back. In this video I am going to be showing you how to take some of the campaigns and groups that I created in the last video and get them set up into my AdWords account, and how to get my payment information entered and get everything up and running. So I'm going to kind of go through this. I just set up a brand new email account for the purposes of trying to keep this as close as possible to what it might look like for you, rather than just using one of my accounts that's already set up. So I'm probably going to pause this a lot as I go through this, like when I put my credit card information in and all that stuff. So I'm going to try to edit out anything that's going to take long as I go, just by pausing it, and then just try to get this as smooth and as quickly as possible. So first thing I went to is just adwords.google.com. I'm going to click on the Start Now button. I have to enter my address, so we'll do that, and then we will do www.thenewagesalon.com. So that's where I'm going to be running my ads for, or that's the site I'm going to be running my ads for. So I just clicked continue, and we'll see what screen it takes me to next. Okay, so it is going to go right into my first campaign. So this is where I get to decide how much I want to spend. So my first campaign, I'm only doing one campaign, so I don't have to worry about my costs split amongst campaigns. I'm only going to spend, $50 over 2 days. So let me just put in $25 per day. You guys do not have to spend that much, so just spend whatever you're comfortable with. I would just try to spend at least $20. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell AdWords where I want to target this. So I could just put in Buffalo, New York, but that's not going to get me as specific as I want, just because with a city, if it targets too far on one side of the city, there's some people that aren't going to be willing to drive the 35 minutes to get to the other side. So I'm probably going to target radius targeting, and I'm probably going to do just a certain number of miles around the location that I pick. So I'm going to pause this for a second because I got to pull up the address. Okay, so I have the address. So what I'm going to do is come over to radius targeting. I'm just going to paste this in and do a quick little search. So this is kind of showing me 20 miles around Buffalo. So this over here is Canada. So one of my managerial decisions I need to make is, are people going to be coming over the border to come to this salon? So that's something I'd probably have to ask the business owner. But just since I used to live in this area, I can tell that these places are probably going to be just a little bit too far away. There's actually not a lot of traffic in this part of the country, so anything right here is probably only going to be about a 20-minute drive, which should be more than enough. So, and actually, since I am targeting something very specific that's high end, if you're going to spend $1,500 on hair extensions, you're probably going to drive a little bit further. So actually, let me put that back out to 20 miles. It'll make it a little easier to spend our money as well. The more you target, the less searches there are. So if I were to do just Niagara County, that's 322,000 people. But then we go to Erie County, you got 1.4 million. So just how big or how small you target is pretty much going to determine how many searches you get. So within this area, I can also exclude some of these Canadian places as well. So if I want to take out Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, I can exclude all of those. So it's a pretty big tourist area, so I am gonna just leave that in, and there's different ways I could check later to see if those types of ads are effective later on. So I'm gonna keep this simple. I'm just gonna add 20 miles around her location, which is dropped right there with the pinpoint. So Let me do that. It's going to show up here. So I'm 20 miles around, straight up 1534 Hurdle Avenue in Buffalo. So this is where I'm going to decide between the search network and the display network. I don't want to run any ads on the display network. In the reading, I should have showed you the differences of those two. So I'm going to stay right on the search network only, just because display ads are a little bit more passive, and I want people that are actively searching for the hair extensions. The next thing that we're gonna take a look at, I just paused it for a second so I can go find my keywords. So the way that this is having us set it up is, this is kind of the more basic way. I have a little bit more complicated system. I have an account that manages multiple accounts, and we're kind of picking groups and everything from the beginning. So this isn't even showing me the option, but I'm just going to kind of go with this, and then once I get one up, it's probably going to give me a little bit more, would be my assumption. So it already read the website that I told them that I was going to be advertising for, and this is kind of what it is recommending. So I'm not doing any of these. I'm going to be doing I'm going to be doing that, just the hair extensions. So I'm going to start with one of those, and I need to put some commas after these actually. So let me just do that real quick. I'm going to pause it. So I have the commas around all of those to let Google know. So let's see what we have here. So I have my hair extensions, and it looks like it is automatically adding all of these other ones. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete these right away. So let me pause real quick. So I have my keywords for the one group that I wanted, with my phrase match and exact match. So this is what we have. These are estimated number of searches, probably per month. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. So these are the keywords I'm starting with, and then I'm going to pick my bid just based on what I saw in the Google AdWords planner. I should be bidding around $1, maybe more. $1 does seem pretty inexpensive, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's gonna be a little bit more than that. But in the AdWords planner, it said 84 cents. So let's see if that's gonna give me any traction to start. So I put my $1 in, and that's going to be the bid for all these keywords. I bid manually, so for this project, it's probably better if you do as well. And I might have to put some of these up or down depending on the competition for each of these keywords. So finally, the last thing I'm going to do is put an ad in. So let me pause and do that so you don't have to watch me enter all the information, and I'll get that entered and bring you right back. So just like that, I have all my information entered into here. You can see I'm linking deeper into the site onto the hair extension page. All the ads I pre-wrote fit perfectly. I have one space left there, one space left there. I always capitalize the first letter of each word. It just reads better, and there's generally better results from the research. And I'm going to enable the phone call for the ad. So let me go ahead and save that, and that should be all the information. So let me hit save and continue and see what this wants us to do. So it is asking for payment, so I am going to go ahead and fill all of this out, and I'm going to pause that and finish and create ad, and I'll bring you right back right after I click on this button here. So at this point, if this is you, fill out all this information. If you find an introductory offer, I'll see if I can find any for you guys. We might be able to take $50 and turn it into like $150. So just get all this filled out, click finish and create. I'm going to bring it back after I get this. And really quick, before I go and hit that submit button, I just did a quick Google search, and I found a coupon where I get $75 in ad credit if I spend $25. So if you guys want to do a search for this, either grab this URL up here, google.com. This is intl -us ads adwords.coupon.html. So you can pause that and find that. Let me just see what I searched for. Google introductory offer is what I searched for. I filled that out, and about 2 minutes later to the Gmail account that I set up, I got the $75 coupon, and I took that code and I entered it into my AdWords. So after I spend my first 25, then I should have some more money get put into the account. So the only thing I did was put in my billing information and that coupon code and hit submit, and it took me to this, a little congratulations screen, and I am just going to go straight to my account so I can see the account that you guys are going to be looking at. Like I said, I have a kind of a professional's account it's got a whole bunch of the accounts that I manage in there, so it is probably going to look a slightly different than yours, but honestly this is pretty close to mine, so I should be able to find my way around this no problem. I'm gonna X out of that, so you might want to take a look at that if it's your first time. So let's just take a look what we have here. We have one campaign, we have one ad group. So it took those initial keywords that I did and it put it into this ad group. So what I'm going to do is probably just rename this to more specific what it is so I can keep track of all this. So let me do that, and then I'm going to pause this real quick and get right back to you. Alright, so to rename this, what I'm going to be doing is clicking all campaigns, then campaigns, and then I can just click this right here, and this is just going to be a straight up campaign to sell hair extensions. So I am going to call this just hair extensions. I'm going to save that, and then within my campaign I am eventually going to have two groups, but I have one entered right now. So let me just rename this ad group 1, and I'm going to call this I guess this is more of my exact match keywords. Not a great name for it, but since I only have two, this will keep me organized for my purposes for this. And then I'm just going to create one more ad group, and I'm going to put the keyword in, and probably add a couple more, but I just got to see kind of how it goes with that. So to get that next ad group, in case you come in at a different time, you're going to click hair extensions and then ad group, and then this plus button right there should take me to it. And this is just going to be broad keyword, because I'm going to show you guys some of the issues we run into when we don't use too specific of keywords. So we're just going to call this hair extensions, and it's probably going to give me some recommendations later on. So let me create an ad for this real quick, and I'm going to pause that once again and just use something similar to my other ad. So same thing as before, very similar ad. Generally in your different groups you're going to have ads that are very specific to the keywords in the ad groups. Since my ad groups are pretty much the same thing but just being used as a teaching material, my ads are going to be very, very similar, which is why I'm doing this. So, but if you are advertising for a friend of yours or a relative and you have two groups, make sure that the ads in those groups match with the keywords that you are using. So you should have read about that a little bit with the tutorial that you did with Google. So I'm going to go ahead and click done. Call extension is generally what's always worked best for local businesses, and so that's what I'm going to do with that. Keep that there. Let's see. Alright, so it is giving me an error. It doesn't like my punctuation, so let me put a period instead and see if that'll clear me out. And it is giving me one more error. So let me pause this real quick while I figure this out, and I'm going to get it right back to you. So I put this back in and I took one out up here, so I'm gonna check that real quick, see if that takes care of it, and that was fine. So I was allowed to have the exclamation point, but it just did not want it to have it into the title. So all this is set up and it will start running in a few hours. They need to review the ads and everything else. So probably a couple hours it'll go to there. One quick thing I always check, and generally we're putting in a lot more keywords into here, but what we want to do is come over here and see if it has any problems with anything. So the first thing it's telling me is just buffalo hair extensions isn't going to give me a ton of traction, so that's fine. Sometimes it'll stop it from showing, but it's just saying that the search volume is low, and it says it will run, but it just won't. It's eligible to show, but it's just probably not going to show up very much, so that's fine. So also in this keywords is where we can put in our negative keywords. So I have a whole bunch up here, pretty much across the board. So I'm going to put all these in campaign level. You can put these in per group or per campaign. So, but I'm just gonna pretty much, these aren't going to work for anything in a hair extensions group. So I'm going to put all of these in, and that's pretty much how you get negatives in. Super simple. So let me go back to the keywords real quick. And what else do I want to do? So one thing I'm going to do is, and you guys don't have to do this, and this isn't the most appropriate thing to do, but since I'm just doing this to teach you guys, I'm going to accelerate my ads. So if you only spend $25 a day and there's generally going to be 50 searches a day, Google can spread out the bids so your ad kind of stays up all day, but it's not going to show in every search. I just want to get my money spent as quickly as possible so I can get some data to show you guys. So I'm going to accelerate this and just so we can get the money spent as quickly as we can. So if this is your first time using AdWords, go in here, kind of play with all these options, and so this is good to go. The only thing I'm going to do off camera is I'm going to go and I'm going to put a couple more ads in. So you generally don't want less than 3 ads per group. So when you as you put in ads, Google's going to serve the different ads, and they're going to let you know which one is most effective. So it's going to tell you the percentage of times that it served it, the percentage of impressions, percentage of clicks, and give you really good data. So this is essentially how easy it is to get AdWords set up for for a business of yours. So follow this video and do what I did. Any questions, talk to me on Slack or via email, and I will give you a hand with that.